Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking a look at the Spanish model of 1964 bayonet. Now this bayonet does go by a couple of other names. It's also known as the CETME C bayonet. It's known as the FR7 or FR8 bayonet, and it's also known as the model of 1969 bayonet. Now these are, as the name suggests, made to fit the CETME C and the FR7 and FR8 training rifles. They're made by ANI, which is the, please excuse my terrible Spanish, Instituto Nacional de Industria. And I think they're based out of Empresa Nacional de Santa Barbara de Industria Militares, or the National Industrial Institute National Business Santa Barbara Military Industries. That was a mouthful. I'll write down the bottom so you can see. Now, while these were used by the Spanish, there was also an export version for Guatemala. I don't know if there were export versions for anywhere else, but you can spot the export versions pretty easily because there's a number of differences. First off, the scabbard is black. They won't have any Spanish serial numbers on them. They'll have smooth, not checkered grips. The pommel will be at a slightly different angle, and the mortise in the back here is oval instead of rectangle. But they're pretty easy to spot. They're not very common though. I've only seen maybe one ever. Anyway, a bit of history. The Spanish adopted the CETME C in 1958. However, initially they didn't provide them with bayonets, so bayonets were an afterthought. And it wasn't until 1964 that this model of bayonet was adopted or accepted. Now, you may notice it takes a bit of inspiration from the model 1941 bolo bayonet, seeing as how the blade has a bit of a recess here, so it's bolo style of blade. I don't know how many of these I've seen online where people have been having a whinge that someone's over-sharpened their old bayonet, but no, that's how it's designed. I've actually got the model 1941 here, so you can have a look at the bolo on that, so that's where it got its inspiration from. And this was itself inspired by something else. I do have another video on this one, so feel free to watch that if you want. Now, the Spanish used these for a couple of years before they eventually replaced their CETME C rifles and CETME C bayonets with the CETME L. And I've got a CETME L bayonet here. And while they retain the same scabbard, it's obviously a different style of bayonet. And that was in 1986 off the top of my head, I think it was, when they did away with these or started replacing them. Now we'll jump into the construction very quickly. Obviously a bit of a rough finish, but got a bolo style blade here, unfulled, bit of a false edge but not sharpened, very thick and heavy blade, very, very solid, very durable. Probably a bit heavy for a bayonet, honestly. I don't know how it goes as a chopper. From what I've read, I think it's a little light, but I can see it's being quite handy in the field as a tool. Then moving down, really, really solid crossguard here and muzzle ring. Really large muzzle ring, actually. Absolutely massive. Probably a Stanag size, so 22mm. I haven't measured it, but that's what it would most likely be. Then it's got these plastic rubbery type grips. I say plastic rubbery because, well, they look like a black plastic. They've got a bit of give to them when you depress them or push them. And you'll notice the checkering here as well. From what I read, that's actually burnt into the plastic. And if that's the case, I'm wondering if that's what happened to the front of my blade here, because I've got that same checkering pattern up there. Then a really, really solid pommel down the base here. We've got a standard push button. That just pushes out on the other side there. And that's just got an internal lug that's ramped, so it'll slide onto the rifle easily enough without depressing the button, but you need to depress the button to remove it. And as I said, the Guatemalan version has a oval style mortise, where the Spanish ones here have a rectangle. But that is a really, really heavy bayonet. I don't have any scales, but for its size, it's heavier than anything else its size by a long shot. Taking a look at the scabbard, just a plastic scabbard. Got a sort of like a shoelace here as a leg strap for tying around your leg to stop the scabbard flapping around. And then the frog's just riveted on. One hilt strap and belt loop. And you will find a lot of these with the American style of wire hangers at the top. Having a feel of this one, it feels like there was one in there at some point, but it's long gone. I've got one here you can take a look at actually on my CETME L. So I'll pull that out. As you can see, for the CETME L they used... Now you can see they use the exact same scabbard. Like, identical. Now, I'll jump into the markings very quickly. There's not a terrible lot of markings you'll find on these. What do we got? So, on the left ricasso here, I think I'm upside down, I am. A little difficult to see. Down the bottom there we have the INI crest, and above that we have a Spanish serial number. Now you'll notice the Spanish serial number starts with ET. That's an abbreviation for Army. So any serial number that starts with ET is an Army bayonet, and any serial number that starts with FN is a naval bayonet. So it's an easy way, and that carries across a lot of the Spanish bayonets. Then on the reverse here, we've got a nice big, sorry it's not focused, nice big Toledo coat of arms. And those are the only markings you'll find on the bayonet, and there is absolutely nothing on the scabbard at all. Now these bayonets are very cheap and very, very common at the moment. They're not the nicest bayonets in the world, but while they're so plentiful on the market, I highly recommend everyone gets their hands on one. I got my hands on this one for 45 Australian dollars, which that's about as much as you spend on a number 4 spike down here. That is very, 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 very cheap. I know in the US you can pick these up for like 20 bucks, but you can't do that down here. But the way I see it, they are starting to dry up. There's less and less of them now than there was a couple of years ago. So if you want one, I'd probably grab it now before they all dry up. Anyway guys, if I missed anything or made any mistakes, please feel free to comment below, and thanks for watching.